The Torah tells us that Hashem had said to Avram Avinu, Lech lecha mi'artzcha u'mna'artcha beis avicha. Not only should he leave his homeland, his birthplace, but even his family. He has to separate from his family. Yet we find that when he went to Canaan, Lot, his nephew, had gone with him. Vayelech he told Lot. And the Torah tells, Vayikach Avram es Lot ben Ochiv. Avram took Lot ben Ochiv. The Torah is making a point, ben Ochiv. The Rechaim HaKodesh explains that factually, Lot shouldn't have come along. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says he has to separate himself totally from his family. Lot came along, he actually imposed himself on Avram Avinu. Vayelech ito Lot, vayikach Avram es Lot ben Ochiv. Avram didn't want to push him away at that moment. He allowed him to come along. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Beis avicha, you have to separate totally from your family. Evidently, somehow, Avram Avinu justified it. Although he's Beis avicha, he's a family member, he acquiesced, they took him. Questions why? We find after Lot returns from Mitzrayim with Avram Avinu, he's laden with wealth. They have a disagreement. Roei Lot, Roei Avram, they're allowing their flocks to graze in fields which are not theirs. Stealing. Avram says, we have to part our ways. You go to the right, I go to the left, or vice versa. Where does Lot choose to go? Goes to Sodom, where the Torah attests to the fact, who is Sodom? Roei v'chatom l'Hashem od. They're literally evil, personification of evil, these people. That's where Lot goes. But Avram tells his nephew, we're brothers. Whatever ever happens to him, I'm always there for you. Always there. Will stand by you. Torah tells us he's taken captive. The four mightiest kings take him captive with explicitly in mind that Avram should enter into battle and be killed. Avram goes to war. He's the victor. He saves Lot. Avram, to bring about such victory, you realize it's not a simple matter. The level of nisim, of miracles that had to happen. Now, how do you merit such miracles? Avram believed that all his merits, all his schus, his whole life maybe was depleted because of this event. Because he only merited these miracles because of his chuyos. Without it, it wouldn't have happened. And he was worried. Kodesh Baruch has to reassure him, Altir Avram, don't worry. Your schus is there, plus you have much more. The man is evil. The man, initially, they parted their ways because of what? They were stealing. Where does he choose to go? To the den of thieves and worse than that. Sodom. And yet, he committed himself to such a point that he's willing to forfeit his life's accomplishments for this nephew who's evidently not within the purview of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which it plays out and he goes back to Sodom afterwards. How do we understand it? Who was the first human being in existence to die al Kiddush Hashem? Lot's father, Haran. Chazal tell us, and Torah says he died because of his father. Avram originally was given an ultimatum, either about to die or go into the kiln, Dur Kazdim. This was Terach. Avram said, I prefer to go into the kiln, and came out alive. Haran was standing by the sidelines, and Nimrod and Haran says, whatever happens, that will determine my decision. If Avram comes out alive, I go into the fire. If he doesn't, then I won't. Came out alive, he went into the fire, he died. When he died al Kiddush Hashem. The first human being in the history of existence to die al Kiddush Hashem is Haran, the father of Lot. Avram felt that because Lot is the son of Haran, the person who brought about such Kiddush Hashem, that he died al Kiddush Hashem, that he gave his life, Avram was bound, responsible for his nephew, to assume all responsibility, as one would assume responsibility for a son. This is why he had this level of commitment. So when Avram originally had a question, when he said, Beis avicha, Because Lot is the son of Haran, who doesn't, evidently, who's not what the family represents. Maybe this is the exception, and especially since Lot wants to go. Vayelech Lot. The way it turned out, it revealed itself. Lot was no better than the family. No better than the family. But factually, even though he had to separate from him, and as the Rechaim HaKodesh makes it, after Lot separated from him, Hashem came to Avram. Until then he didn't, because since he was a Rasha, he did not associate with Avram. But he was still committed. He says, Achim anachnu. He was willing to give it all up for the son of Haran, because Haran died al Kiddush Hashem. It was worthwhile to put everything on the line for the sake of Haran.